It's my distinct pleasure now to introduce some of our VIPs that are in the audience tonight. And before I actually introduce all of them, I'd like to send regrets from one very important person who's not here tonight. And that's Hank Stickney, our owner. Due to a scheduling snafu, and that's probably the nicest way I can say it, Hank and Dee are in New Zealand tonight. They had planned this vacation back in the fall, and anyway, they regret very much not being here with you tonight, and asked me to send their best wishes, and they look forward to seeing everyone opening day. Now, I'm assuming everyone knows what opening day is, right? Does anybody know what opening day is? April the what? You guys are killing me up here. Can we say April 9th? Can we say the 16th?
If you would like it.
On three, we're going to say April 16th, okay? 1, 2, 3. April 16th. Very good. I look forward to seeing all of you there that night.
I'll be there the night.
You'll be by yourself. We're going to be in Lancaster. Again, Hank sends his regrets, and we'll see all of you on the 16th of April. We do have some of the other owners of the team here, and I'd like to introduce them at this time. One of our board members and someone who is quickly becoming my best friend, Mr. Charles Bouquet. Chuck, please stand up. We also have Jack Cooley. Jack's one of our owners. Jack, please stand. Jack threatens me every day he's going to come back to play third base for us. And, Jack, I may hold you that this summer, depending on how the team does. George DeLang is here. George, where are you sitting tonight? Hey, George. And Bob Clark. Is Bob here? Over there in the corner. There we go. Bob's in the back. When I first moved to town, Bob gave me one of his baseball cards and signed it for me, so I got it in a real special place. Probably the most important person in the room, to me anyway, is the CEO of my household, and that's my wife, Anita. Anita, please stand. She graciously allowed me to move 3,000 miles to pursue my dream, so I appreciate that. We also have some members of City Council with us tonight. Rex Gutierrez, City Council member, a very good supporter of the team. Rex here. Bob Howdyshell. Don Kerr. And Mayor Pro Tem Diane Williams. Hello, Diane. Mayor Alexander sends his regrets. As you all know, he's had a very busy week this week, and he had planned to be with us tonight. But due to the circumstances of this week, he could not make it. But he also looks forward to seeing you opening night. He has promised us he'll be there then. The man who makes the city go, under the direction of City Council, Jack Lamb, is with us tonight, our city manager. Jack White is also here. And probably, if it gets down to it, the man who really does all the work, Jack takes the credit for, Dwayne Baker, the assistant city manager. That's how it works in my office, Dwayne. They do all the work and I take all the credit. So that's probably how it works everywhere. Thank you for being here. I'd also like to introduce Assemblyman Bob Dutton, who's with us tonight. As you all know, Bob serves on the 63rd District, representing us, which includes Rancho. He's currently running for state senate. And we all hope you'll continue to support Bob as he has supported the team. Bob has served on the city council and actually flew in today just for our event. So Bob, we appreciate you and Andrea being here tonight. It's very nice of you both to come down and join us. And Bob has been and continues to be a season ticket holder. So if you have any other reasons you need to vote for him, I think I've given you about 3 or 4 reasons right there. But remember, Bob doesn't come November. And I'll make sure that I'm registered to vote and all this kind of thing. So we'll get you 2 more votes. So, thank you very much for coming out tonight. We also have the Mayor of Ontario tonight, Gary Over. Gary, are you still here? Gary, and it'll take too long to introduce this next group individually, so I'm just going to introduce them as a whole. But this group has been really special to me in the 2.5, 3 months I've been here. From the first day I walked into the office, they have treated me unbelievably nicely and courteously. They've done their jobs. They're responsible for our banquet tonight, and I'd just like the entire staff of the Quakes to stand up, and I'm going to give you a standing ovation. Through my 26 years of being in baseball, I've had the opportunity to see a lot of different teams in action, and obviously being on the business side of it, we pay attention to what the staffs are doing. And I can say without hesitation that as a group, this is the best staff I've ever seen. And I think, all of you saw it firsthand with the All-Star game last year, and you're going to see it this summer also. And I'm really excited about the upcoming season and the things we're going to be doing to make every night at the Jeff Center a lot of fun for you. And again, 99.9% of the work is being done by these folks. So, and I want you to remember that at all times, because they are absolutely tremendous and a real joy for me to work with. So I thank you all very much. I'd also like to introduce some of our VIPs sitting up front. These are the folks that were gracious enough to buy the entire tables and show their support not only for the Quakes but also the United Way. And in no particular order, we've got the Bank of America. We want to thank them. Table number 8. Charles Joseph and Associates, which is our good friend Mr. Tucker K. Contact One Funding.
They're not here.
The family and friends of Spider Jorgensen. Gary Ackerman. Huff Properties. The one and only Jack Cooley. Omni Seals. Rob Park. Roy and Gloria Lewis. Steve Johnson. Tom, are you guys ready? Okay. Finally, we want to have a special introduction for our friends at Vineyard Bank. And they're really going to deserve a round of applause. Wait a minute. As you all know, as season ticket holders and fans of the Quakes, you've been promised something for a long time. A long time. And I'm very excited tonight to be able to let you know that your promises, or the promises that have been made to you, are going to become a reality this season. And it's because of Vineyard Bank. I can't say enough about the folks at Vineyard Bank, and again, I won't introduce them individually, but I've been in town, I guess about 3 months now, and their support of not only the Quakes, but the community as a whole is unbelievable. It's amazing to me that one institution is involved in so many different things and so many good things throughout the community. And again, I don't want to sound like a complete shill here, but they've just been a phenomenal partner for us to work with. And because of their generosity and community spirit, we are very proud to announce that this year we're going to have a brand new state-of-the-art video board. You're all invited to come up after the program and see it. It's an artist drawing. We actually have a video in our office that, again, you can't all come at once, but you can come up and watch the video and get an idea as to what it's going to look like. But we're going to have the video screen itself will be 13 and a half feet by 23 and a half feet. It'll be the latest technology in video production. We'll have 3 static cameras and 1 mobile camera. So if anybody happens to be kissing during a game, you're going to be on the video. So bring your lipstick. It's going to be a great addition to the ballpark. I know it's one of the things that has been a stick in some of your sides for a while, and we're hoping this is going to take that stick out. But it's going to be a beautiful board. It'll be up and installed by early April, before April 16th, we promise. But if you want to come by during the month of March, that's when the board will actually be installed. And again, we're very excited about that. Again, I want to thank all of you at Vineyard Bank very much for your generosity and support, and most importantly, your friendship. You've been very good to us.
I want to introduce one of our guests tonight, and for those of you who are Quakes fans, and you all are here in this room, you know the gentleman I'm going to be talking about. He's your manager again this season. I believe he's going to be in his 3rd year managing the Quakes. I can remember last year telling you about the Quakes team before I introduced Bobby Meacham and said, I think you're going to have a good club because you're going to have Jeff Mathis here, and you're going to have Irvin Santana here, and you're going to have Kochman here, and Nick Gorneau was here, and Dallas McPherson was terrific here. Well, but sure enough, you got in the playoffs. Unfortunately, those guys weren't here when you were in the playoffs, but they were all here, and I know you all had a chance to enjoy them. And they are certainly some of the prized prospects in the Angels organization. The Angels, this past season, in September of 2003, the Angels were named the top organization in baseball by 2 major news media entities, by USA Today and also by Sports Ticker. And in being named the 2003 Organization of the Year, that certainly deals a lot with what happens at the minor league level. It's not just for the major league team, it's for the entire organization, and that's why it's called that. You're going to have some other very exciting players in all likelihood be with Rancho at the start of this season. Now, you're going to have and again, I'm not picking these teams here, but I think it's the way it's going to play out. You're going to have a double play combination that you are going to fall in love with. A couple of guys who last year were at Cedar Rapids. They were all-stars in their league, and I would think that in the Cal League they're going to be all-stars again. Alberto Cayespo is a second baseman who this year playing in winter ball in Venezuela was named second in the voting for Rookie of the Year for that winter league. And keep in mind, he's a 20-year-old who is competing against a lot of current major league players. In fact, the Rookie of the Year for the Venezuelan winter league this year was Frankie Rodriguez. Frankie was still considered a rookie for that. So Cayespo, who will be your second baseman in all likelihood, is just a phenomenal player. He's 20 years old, soon to be 20. And then your shortstop is a young man named Eric Ibar. He has a brother, Manny, who's a pretty good prospect, a little older than him in the Dodgers organization. And these two are just wonderful players. And very well could be here all season. This will be their first chance to move up to the California League, and in all likelihood, I think they'll probably be here for the whole year. So they're going to be fun to watch. They're very good hitters. They're terrific defensively, And they have moved up the Angels organization together. It's not a coincidence. The Angels want to keep these two guys together because they think in time, maybe they might be a double play combination in Anaheim in a few years. So they're going to be fun to watch, absolutely fun to watch. Joe Saunders, who was the Angels' first-round pick in the 2002 June draft, left-handed pitcher, very well could be here this season, and I think you're going to like him. And a guy that probably won't begin this year here with the Quakes, but if he pitches anywhere close to the way he pitched last year, I can guarantee you he'll be here before the end of the 2004 season, and that's a right-handed pitcher by the name of Bel Moreno, who might remind you a little bit of Urban Santana. He was fabulous this year in the Angels organization. A young man who broke in and went 10-0, and then he got promoted a level and went 1-1, and was 11-1 overall. So those are some of the exciting players that you're going to have a chance to see, along with some holdovers. You might even see Casey Kochman back here to start the year. I don't know. Casey's didn't get a whole lot of at-bats last season, and got hurt in the Arizona Fall League, and so he could be here. But with that said, I want to introduce a guy that I've known for quite some time. I mentioned this last year at this banquet. We go back some 20 years together. I was kidding Bobby Meacham's daughter, Brooke. The last time I saw her, she wasn't even any taller than this table back in 1983 when we were together with the Columbus team and the Yankees organization. So it was great to see her. I know her mother, Gary, and I've known Bobby for a long time. He's a terrific guy, great family guy, terrific baseball person, and I'm sure over the last couple of seasons you've gotten to know him and know exactly what I'm talking about. So without any further ado, I'd like to bring up to the podium here the Quakes manager for the upcoming 2004 season. Once again, let's welcome Bobby Meacham.
Hi everybody, it's good to be back here again. Good to see some familiar faces. We're really looking forward to this year again. Well, Terry says we're going to have a great team, so I guess I can't screw it up again. I got to make sure I don't screw it up like I did the first year, right guys? But last year we had a real good season. It was a real fun season. Of course, we had you guys are, the best fans I've ever been around, really. Truly, the players are blessed to have you guys behind them like you were the last two seasons. I've been in baseball for 20 some odd years, and honestly and truly, I've never seen the fans like you guys get behind these players and their families and help them out the way you do. And I just think you should give yourselves a hand for being great fans, really. One other thing, I feel kind of weird being up here. This is my third year in a row back with the Quakes, and I feel weird. I'm not wearing my customary jacket that I always wear, the only sports coat that I own. But I just had to change it up a little this year. First 2 years, we didn't win the championship, so I'm thinking, sweater, a little bit mop, throwing that kind of thing. We might win it this year. Oh, and then we got the scoreboard. That's got to go too, and that goes a long ways for us winning. But hopefully, like I said, we can come back this year, and we had a great year last year, like and I think this year we can build on that. I think a lot of guys, of course, we'll have a lot of new faces, but a lot of guys can start to identify with winning and traditions. Terry joked earlier about being with the Yankees. We were together with the Yankees, a AAA associate with the Columbus Clippers. And what happens when you win, I don't care what level you're at, when you win, you just get used to winning. And the people that won before you, you don't want to let them down. So by us winning the first half last year, I think that goes a long way towards us starting something here that can continue. We can continue to build that tradition, so those guys that come up next, those players that Terry mentioned that'll come in next year, they don't want to let any of you guys down. They know what happened here last year. We had a really good team, and so we're going to come in here and they're going to work hard. I guess that's my job. I'll make sure they work hard. If they don't, what happens is usually they get replaced pretty quick. So we're going to have a hard-working team. We've got a lot of talent coming back here next year. Gosh, I don't know how good I'll be this year. My first year I was a terrible manager, I know that. I think I don't know how many games we lost, almost 90 games. See, last year I was a pretty good manager the first half. We won the first half. And we'll just see. We'll just have to wait and see this year. I hope we can build on that, and hopefully we can be a better team than we were even last year. Well, I guess it does. The players have something to do with it. It's not all you guys. My playing career is long gone, but hopefully I can help these guys out, help them come back here with a winning attitude. Hopefully we can kind of team up with you all like we have the last couple of years and have some camaraderie going and have some fun at the ballpark and watch an exciting, good young baseball team have a good year. Thanks again for having me.
I would like to introduce to you now our keynote speaker. And just the other day I saw a quote that kind of caught my eye, and in thinking about this banquet here tonight, I thought it was very apropos when you talk about our keynote speaker tonight, Jim Abbott. The quote is, "The impossible is often the untried. The impossible is often the untried." Jim Abbott has never believed anything is impossible. He was an all-state athlete in high school in the state of Michigan. He was an All-American at the University of Michigan. He was the Golden Spikes Award winner. He was a U.S. Olympian in 1988. And he received the Sullivan Award honoring the nation's top amateur athlete. He's a former first-round pick of the Angels, the 8th selection overall back in the June 1988 draft. In 1989, his rookie season in the major leagues, he became just the 15th player in the history of baseball to appear in a major league game without having pitched even a single inning or even facing a single batter in the minors. He went right from college to the big leagues. He won 12 games his rookie season, and in 1991, he won 18 games with the Angels, finishing third in the American League Cy Young Award race. In 1993, just a couple years later, 2 weeks shy of his 26th birthday, he pitched a no-hitter for the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium against the Cleveland Indians. He retired after the 1999 season at the age of 32 with 87 victories in his major league career. I want to share just a brief story with you about Jim. I seeked out one of his ex-teammates, Rex Hudler. I mentioned to Jim before the dinner here, the banquet tonight. Rex had told me this story and he kind of had a smile on his face. And he said, yep, it happened. 1996, which was Jim Abbott's last season with the Angels, Jim had by far his worst season in the majors. And what Rex Hudler had told me about that year was how much the players in that Angel clubhouse wanted to win for Jim Abbott. Guys would know ahead of time which night Abby was going to be on the mound. He was a starting pitcher then. And they wanted to win for him like you can't believe. And things just didn't go right in that 1996 season. The thing that Rex told me was that Jim Abbott never pointed a finger at anyone. Rex said he knew, talking to Jim years later, that 96 season was just eating at him because this guy is such a competitor, such a great competitor. And Rex said even though Jim had his worst year in the big leagues in 1996, that he handled himself like a true champion. And in that 1996 season, the Angels, in a game at the Metrodome in Minnesota, a game in which Jim Abbott was the starting pitcher, turned a triple play behind him. And Rex said, you know, if you get a chance, tell this story. And I mentioned it to Jim, and he said, yeah, it was true. It was a ground ball in that game against the Twins. It was hit to Jack Howell, who was playing third base for the Angels. Gary DiSarcina was playing short, Rex Hudler was playing second, and J.T. Snow was the first baseman. Ground ball hit by one of the Twins batters to Jack Howell. He touches third base, out number 1. Throws the ball to second to Rex Hudler for out number 2. Well, Rex tells me that when Jack Howell's throw came to him at second base, Rex didn't know how many outs that made. He wasn't sure if that was the third out, or if that was the second out, or what was going on. And Rex kept thinking, you know, after I touch the bag at second, if I throw to first to complete what turned out to be the triple play, I'm going to look like a moron if the out at second was actually the third out. So he said he got the ball, and then he thought, real quick, I got to throw to first base. I'm not sure how many outs there are. So he threw to first base, and boom, it completed the triple play. As he was running off the field, he went over to Jim. He said something to the effect, he said, Abby, he goes, I got to tell you this, and you know how high-strung Rex is. He goes, I got to tell you this, that ball came to me at second base, and I didn't know if it was the second out or the third out, but I thought I got to throw to first base just to make sure that, you know, if we needed another out, we got it, and we turned to triple play. And he said that Jim, with a straight face, just looked at him, and he said, Hud, way not to think out there. Way not to think out there. So that's a true story. And this guy, you know, I don't have to tell you any more about him. You know his story. Everybody in this country knows his story and what he overcame and what he became. As I mentioned, he pitched a no-hitter in the big leagues, went from amateur baseball to the major leagues without any minor league time. He was a terrific high school football player as well. He was a quarterback in football in the state of Michigan. Just an unbelievable person. And let's give a very warm round of applause to Jim Abbott.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Terry. I almost don't have the heart to tell you now, after all those kind remarks, that I saw Terry making that Mike Sosa joke up by himself up here. He was laughing, kind of In-N-Out Burger, pizza manager. So when I see Mike, thank you very much. It's a great honor to get up and speak. I can't believe we're talking about baseball already. Man, it's just 3 weeks, I think, till pitchers and catchers report for the Angels. Not much longer until the players from the Quakes start arriving and getting ready. And it's so exciting to see. How many Angel fans do we have out there? Yeah, I mean, it's just so exciting, the energy and the enthusiasm, the unbelievable fans that, you know, really just showed their colors over the last couple of years. I remember being a rookie in 1989, and I played with a guy named Brian Downing. You guys remember Brian Downing?
Yes.
I was terrified of him. Seriously, one of the most intense baseball players I've ever seen, and a great one, a great leader. But he told me in 1986, when the Angels lost that infamous game against the Boston Red Sox in the playoffs, he told me that Anaheim Stadium was by far the loudest stadium he'd ever been in. And I got to be honest with you, I found it a little bit hard to believe. I was like, wow, I just haven't seen it, right? But I didn't tell him that. And it wasn't until a couple years later, playing the Yankees in that playoff game and going to the game and seeing the Angel fans, it was just absolutely incredible. And all of a sudden, that place was shaking. I mean, that stadium was rocking, and I knew exactly what he was talking about. It was the loudest stadium that I'd ever been in. And that enthusiasm, that excitement is carried over for the Angels. Spending some time with Abe, you know, just hearing the fact that they're the organization of the year, seeing the great things that Mike Socha and his staff are doing. It's great. It's great to be an Angel fan, great to be a part of the organization. And, you know, I know they're real proud of their affiliation with the Quakes. And you guys have a big hand in that too, so I just thought I'd mention that. I had my own personal experiences in the minor leagues. As Terry mentioned, I did a little bit backwards. As he mentioned, when I first came up to the sign professionally, I was very lucky. I always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. I played at the University of Michigan, which was a dream come true for me, and had a chance, just happened to be my junior year of college, had a chance to play on the Olympic team and be drafted by the Angels at the same time. And we won a gold medal in the Olympics in the fall, and I came to spring training the next year with the Angels and went straight to the big leagues. So I never went to the minor leagues. And somehow battled and clawed my way through 8 or 9 years, and as Terry mentioned, 1996, I went out and put together a 2-18 year. And wasn't one of my better showings, I gotta say. Just had a tough year. And the following year, I was released by the Angels. Very difficult, very, very tough, because for me, growing up, sports had always been my way of fitting in. It had always been a large part of my self-esteem. And to not have that, to have it taken away, to be released by a team that I loved, the Angels, was very difficult. And I spent the entire 1997 year out of baseball, doing all the things that I thought I was going to love to do, barbecuing, I bought a boat, water skiing. But I had an emptiness, I had an ache, and I couldn't find anything else in my life that gave me the outlet that Major League Baseball did, that playing against big league players gave me. And it was one phone call from a man who I admire quite a bit, Buck Rogers. You guys remember Buck Rogers, who was a manager? He called me one day in his gruff voice and said, "Jim, I don't think you're done. Let's go work on the split-fingered fastball." I said, "All right, Buck, let's go." And that was all we needed. You know, friendship and inspiration can sometimes come from places where we don't expect it. And we started working out. I got to a point where I felt good enough with what I was doing that I went to the Chicago White Sox in Comiskey Park, big league stadium, talked to their general manager, had a good workout, had a second good workout. They called me in the office and said, "We'd like to offer you a contract." I was like, "Yeah, all right, I'm back, all right. We'd like to send you to Hickory, North Carolina." So I became a Hickory crawdad. I had never been in the minor leagues before. And all of a sudden, you know, in playing with kids who are 10 years younger than I am, and great people. And I made a great connection with the people at Hickory. And the ballpark was beautiful. The shower was scary. You didn't wear shower shoes, you needed boots. It wasn't the major leagues, let me just put it that way. But I did well enough with the Hickory Crawdads to get a promotion to the Winston-Salem Warthogs. Worked hard there, fought my way to the Birmingham Barons. By this time it's late July. Now I'm going through North Carolina, Alabama. I've lost about 10 pounds, I miss my wife, I miss my kids. But I tell you, it gave me an appreciation for baseball, for the major leagues, and for the minor leagues. I'll never forget being in those clubhouses. And we'd have batting practice, and we'd run in afterwards and get in that air conditioning, and they'd have a major league game on. And these were my friends that I was watching play. These were the stadiums that I was so familiar with. And I missed it. I felt a million miles away from it. And I looked around with the kids that I was playing with, and I saw in their eyes how bad they wanted to get there too. And I knew right then and there why it is so difficult to make it to the major leagues, how it seems so unattainable and so hard. And after Birmingham, I went up to Calgary. So I went from Hickory, North Carolina to Calgary, AAA, got my act together a little bit, and actually got a call up to the big leagues in September of that year. Made it back. I wanted to kiss the ground. It was absolutely unbelievable. Pitched in Comiskey Park. They gave me good news. Said, "Jim, you've been called up to the big leagues." And that's the good news. Bad news, you're facing the Yankees. And they were really good that year. But we won the game, and came back, and I would honestly think that making it back and kind of earning my way back was as good an accomplishment as making it in the first place. And, it was an incredible experience, though. It was, and I really got a first-hand chance to see the life of a minor league player. And I can tell you from playing in those far-off places and in different communities, how much your support means to these kids. Many of them get shipped out quickly. Many of them get called up in the middle of the night. And they don't always get to say goodbye. They don't always get to say thank you. But I would like to say thank you for them, because no matter where they go, if they make it to the major leagues, if they don't, they will always remember their experiences here for the rest of their lives. And you guys have a great, big part of that. So congratulate yourself. It is really, truly heartfelt. And I know Terry said something about maybe doing questions and answers. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have some. I'd just like to bring up one question that was asked of me a couple years ago when I was talking down in the University of Florida. And the Golden Globes are on tonight. Is that the Golden Globes? So I hope I'm not holding you up for that. They're stretched out anyway, right? They'll be like on their second award by the time we get home. But I'd like to share with you this one question. Young lady stood up, and she was in crutches. She'd been battling challenges her whole life. And she stood up and said, "Jim, knowing what you know now, having been through what you've been through, if there was some medical breakthrough, if there was some way for you to grow a right hand, to magically do things differently, would you do it?" And I should tell you guys, maybe some of you don't know, I was born without my right hand. I learned to play baseball by switching the glove on and off. And she asked me, if now, would I change? And I thought about that. It kind of struck me. And there's times when I'd say, yeah, well, there could be a couple things that are easier, but I wouldn't change a thing. I believe that growing up the way I grew up, with some challenges and with some adversity, made me a better person. I believe that losing 18 games, as tough as it was in 1996, in the end made me a better person. Not better than anybody else, but better than I would have been. And that's what I would like to tell you guys tonight, that sometimes we go through difficult times, sometimes we face challenges, and we don't think that we can make it through. But by going through those things, we find a strength that we didn't always know we had. Lance Armstrong said in his book, It's Not About the Bike, that being a cancer patient and surviving and getting through, and not only surviving, but while he was going through it, he and the other patients considered themselves the lucky ones. They felt like going through the struggles made them more intelligent, more compassionate, and better people, and in the end, a better bicyclist. And that's what I believe too. I would never equate my hand and growing up with having cancer, but I know that sometimes just a little extra push, a little extra challenge can push us out the other side and make us feel stronger. And I would tell that little girl, if I ever see her again, that the Bible says, to be grateful in all situations. I know that I'm grateful for mine. I'm very lucky. I feel like I'm the luckiest person on earth. I was blessed with much more than was ever taken away. Being a part, having a life in baseball was one of those blessings. Having a chance to meet you tonight and the great people of the Quakes organization is a blessing. And hopefully we'll all continue to root for the Angels. And I'm telling Mike Socia, Terry. Okay. Thank you very much for having me.
That was great, it really was. Here's a question from Scott Hodgson. Jim, what advice would you give to a young ball player who wants to be a major league player?
Well, I think I would say always believe in yourself, Scott. Always be your own best friend. You know, there's a time in every game when a pitcher or hitters, you know, you just got to draw that line in the sand and believe in yourself. And the difference between excelling and just getting by is that belief. I really believe that. I like to tell the story when I threw a no-hitter with the Yankees in 1993. You know, that pressure started building in Yankee Stadium. You know, the mound in Yankee Stadium felt like the center of a hurricane. It really did. People started chanting from the 6th inning on. You know, every out, they're chanting and yelling and screaming. And it really becomes very difficult to block that stuff out. And it becomes even more difficult not to hope that that happens. You know, I really wanted to throw a no-hitter. But, as you know, when you're pitching, you can't hope that ball goes over the plate. You have to keep reminding yourself, throw that pitch, believe in it, trust it, because it's that belief that gives you that last little life on your fastball. It's that belief that gives you that last little movement. So whatever you do, believe in yourself and be your own best friend. I think that's the key.
Yeah, just stay here, Jim. Your best and worst moments in baseball.
You know, my best and worst moments is a tie. My best, I think, was winning the Olympic gold medal because it was such a culmination of a team effort. I played with some of my best friends to this day over in Seoul, Korea. Pitching a no-hitter with the Yankees, I think, is tied. You know, it's an experience you never take with you. The worst experience I had, I think, was probably cleaning out my locker. When I was released by the Angels in 1997, you're leaving, driving across the desert, listening to Willie Nelson, crying my eyes out. But yeah, it was tough, but I'm thankful for all of it, to be honest with you. For all the parents, you know, we get so caught up sometimes in where this is leading, you know, where sports might take our kids. And I have young girls now. And I want them to experience it all. You know, the triumphs are great and they teach us, but the losses teach us also. And I know that now. I'm old enough now and far enough removed from my career to realize that both are instructive. And we're really fortunate to experience both.
All right, we got PJ Lewis has a lot of questions here for you, Jim. He wants to know how many games you won with the Angels, how many games you won with the Yankees, and how many games you won during the Olympics.
You know, I don't know. I don't know how many games. I won 87 in my career. The Olympics were a 2-week tournament. I think I pitched twice. I did win the last game against Japan, so that was the most important one. And I got to tell you a funny Rex Hudler story. See, is that what I do? Rex Hudler, Rex Hudler was, you know, the most boisterous, fun-filled, positive teammate I've ever seen. He'd walk into a clubhouse every day and say, "Are you going to be a fountain or are you going to be a drain? What are you going to be for our team today?" And it was great, and I use that now with my girls' softball. Are you going to be a fountain or are you going to be a drain? So in a major league clubhouse, you know, it gets a little cynical. In some of that stuff, you know, people kind of look out of their eyes, I don't know, but Rex somehow was able to cut through it all. Well, anyway, he was playing with Bo Jackson. Mark Langston told me this story. He was playing with Bo Jackson. Mark was on the team. Bo Jackson came up, big late inning game, hit a 3-run home run, tied the game, very dramatic. He ran around the bases, very nonchalant, came in, shook his teammates' hands, kind of limp-wristedly, and sat down. And Rex just looked at him and said, "Where's the emotion? Where's the?" Next day at stretching, Rex walks over to Mark Langston and goes, "Langer, I can't believe he didn't pump the boys up. I can't believe he didn't show more emotion. Get guys going." And Mark looked at him and said, Why don't you go tell him, Rex? So Rex got his courage going, walked over to Bo and said, "Hey, Bo." You know, nobody heard the conversation, but they saw Bo nodding his head. Sure enough, as all great stories go, a couple weeks later, Bo Jackson comes up in the same situation. Bam! Big 2-run homer. The team takes the lead. Rex is just going crazy, screaming, yelling. Bo, sure enough, runs around the bases faster this time, comes in, stamps on the plate, gives his team a high five, and there's Rex waiting for him on the top step of the dugout. Bo Jackson high fives him, chest bumps Rex right onto the ground. So Rex is laying there in sunflower seeds, tobacco juice, Gatorade cups. And he looks up at Bo and he goes, "That's what I'm talking about! That's what we need!"
All right, Jim, we have one more question, and it's from Gary Ovid, and he wants to know, who was your role model as a child, and who do you know to be a good role model for today's youth?
My role model was Nolan Ryan. I love Nolan Ryan. And he continued to be my role model when I was lucky enough to watch him play up close in the major leagues. My parents were also my role model. They were very supportive, and anything I ever did had a lot to do with their courage and their wisdom. And I think there's a lot of great role models out there. I think Lance Armstrong's a tremendous role model, and many of today's Angels. I think Garrett Anderson, the way he goes about his business, the hard work that he puts in and day out, not complaining. I think there's a lot of great role models in sports, particularly here on the Angel team.
Let's give our keynote speaker one more big round of applause.